What's up, y'all? You're listening to Our Children, Our Future. This is the podcast for parents to learn about things that will affect their children's future. Today, we're talking a little bit more about technology. We talk about technology, education, leadership. Today, we're talking a little bit more about technology because if you don't know, I'm going to catch you up. Just this past week, something really cool was released in technology called Sora. It's an AI that can generate videos all from just a few words, all just from a little bit of text. Now, it can create a video that's about a minute long. But what's different about this, because we've had this technology before, what's different about this is that it can create video that looks so real, you're not even sure, is this real? Or is this a video that was like taken from National Geographic? Is this something that I should have seen before? What is this going on? And it's actually completely AI generated. And it's getting so good. It's to the point where there was a parody that Will Smith had made where he did a video, well, way back when, there's a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti, right? Generated by AI. It looks ridiculous. You would not be fooled by it. You're like, clearly this is some computer generated thing, right? But there's another video of Will Smith eating spaghetti, and you can see them side by side. And one says AI then, and the other says AI now. And it looks so good. You're like, man, AI has come a long way. But it turns out that that second video is not actually AI. It's Will Smith eating the spaghetti. Now, when I first saw that video, I thought, man, AI has gotten really good. But then I was told that's actually Will Smith. I didn't even know that. I thought it was AI. It was that good. So you're going to see some videos of AI, how good that's gotten, and some videos of people where you're not even sure, is this the real thing or not? You're not sure if this was AI generated or if this is someone pretending to be AI generated. It's gotten that good. But here's the other thing. There was another technology that was released as well over the last week called Gemini. This is by Google, right? And this is an AI that can generate pictures for you, all of that sort of stuff. But there's been a lot of backlash about it, and it's being called racist. And probably not for the reason that you're thinking if you haven't seen this already, but it's being called racist because whenever you ask it to give you a picture of someone white, it says, I cannot do that. However, if you ask it for a picture of someone of any other ethnicity, it will gladly do it right away. And so if you say, hey, get me a picture of someone who is white, and it'll say, sorry, we can't give you a picture of someone based on their ethnicity. That's just not something that we do. And you say, okay, give me a picture of someone who's black. And it'll say, right away, sure, no problem. And it'll give you a picture of someone who's black. If you ask for a picture of someone who is a Viking, if you ask for a picture of a historically accurate Viking, it will give you a picture of black people or Asian people or Native Americans dressed as Vikings. If you ask for someone who's from Scotland, it'll give you only pictures of black and brown people from Scotland. Which is really interesting because these are places where we know these are mostly white people. And so it's not accurate to what's actually out there and realistically there, but instead is following some sort of algorithm or what is socially acceptable. And this just shows the influence that can be exerted through AI. And so if you're thinking, well, okay, perhaps it's not showing me this because they don't want to break any rules, that's likely the case. Right? They don't want to break any rules. Or you could say it's because they don't want to show like a certain famous person. If you ask for a certain, like Joe Biden as the president, it won't give you Joe Biden as the president. But if you ask for, show me a president in 2030, it'll give you someone who is either black or brown or Asian, anything but white, essentially. If you ask for a picture of the Pope, historically, popes have been these old white guys, right? It'll give you someone who's a female or someone who is clearly has African features, right? And if you ask for certain celebrities, it won't generate the picture. And you could say maybe it's a copyright claim. Maybe they don't want to get backlash from using somebody's likeness. However, regardless of what the reasons are, you have to realize that if we are going into a society, which we are, that is heavily influenced by AI, that's what's coming, right? We're seeing all this talk about metaverse. We're seeing all this talk about recently something was coming out about Neuralink. If you're not familiar with Neuralink, it is basically a technology that can be inserted into the brain. And then that technology gets inserted into the brain and you can use it to move a mouse on a screen or to interact with your phone or interact with your smartwatch or things like that, right? And Neuralink is by Elon Musk and his companies. However, Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg are suggesting that they want to do something very similar, right? And so, and they've also talked about this metaverse thing. They've also talked about all these things that we're seeing technology have more and more prevalence in our lives. If you thought that walking around with your phone and being on social media all day was a lot of technology influence, we're about to get even more, 100 times more with the technologies that we have available right now. And so we're seeing just what's possible. And what this means for the future is if your child is surrounded by technology and they grew up surrounded by technology, surrounded by AI, and having either a Neuralink or some sort of metaverse, some sort of interface where they go into a technological universe. And they're creating these worlds around the things that your children are thinking. These worlds are being influenced not necessarily by reality, but by those who would like to shape reality, those who would like to give reality the way that they want it to look. Those who say, hey, these are the ideas that I have about reality. I think that, anybody except for white people could be president, or anybody except for white people can be, you know what I'm saying? And so they're having an influence on how your child thinks. And so if you're not white, like myself, you might think, hey, that's good. It's giving other people an opportunity to see themselves in these positions of power, let's say. But it's only a matter of time till they turn that tide against the next person, against perhaps if you're Asian, perhaps if you're black or brown, or in fact, there is a policy that we know of that is in some schools like Harvard and other Ivy League schools, where they actually limit the amount of Asians that they will accept in their school, because if it was just based on merit, there would be a lot of Asians that would get in because they score very well on these tests and they have high grades and things like that. But they instead limit the amount of Asians. And so that is a form of racism, you could say, against Asian cultures, right? And so it's only a matter of time before the quote unquote racism of these AIs gets turned against the next person. And it may not even be just about racism. It could be about your weight. Right now we have within our society a group of people who talk about body positivity, right? And fat shaming and things like that. And so it's only a matter of time before a large group of people, that's a funny joke, start saying, hey, you can't say these certain things on social media. Otherwise, you get deplatformed. Otherwise, you can't participate. And so what does somebody who's fit looks like? And you may get an image of an obese person. That's not very far off, right? And so the problem with this is that it creates a lot of problems. If you're not dealing with reality, if you're not getting information, if you're actually using this AI like a lot of people do for business purposes, where you're trying to find information that's accurate to you so that you can use it to make some money, or to write a proposal, or to speak to somebody on their level, and you're getting bad information, you're getting information that does not reflect reality, then you're going to run into a lot of problems. You're going to create problems because what you're thinking and the information that you're given is not accurate. And this is the problem that a lot of people have already today, is that they have these ideas in their mind, but they're not accurate to reality, which creates a lot of confusion. You bump up against a lot of things that just don't make sense, and you can't make sense of it. And so you create more and more problems. That's the problem that we're having in our society today, is that people do not want to face reality. They want to live in their own bubble world. In fact, part of that problem is that a lot of people have raised their children to be very thin-skinned, not on purpose, but it's sort of like, here's an example. A lot of parents who grew up in an environment where they were not told good job, they were met with a lot of criticism, they felt like they couldn't do anything right, raise their children, and they'll say to their children, good job, and they'll praise them, and they'll give them a lot of appreciation and a lot of acknowledgement, right? And you would think that should solve the problem. However, actually, no, it doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't create a child who feels really confident in themselves. Instead, it creates a child who seeks praise from others. And so they don't do things out of, I can see the value of doing this and I want to do this, out of their own volition. Instead, they do things when they know that they'll get praise for it. They know they'll get a reward for it. They'll feel good for doing that, not because they want to do it, but because somebody's going to give them something, whether that is verbal praise or money or anything like that, some sort of reward for them. And so it's the same problem that we see within children as they're growing up today in this world. They've been told, you're great, you're amazing, and you have no faults whatsoever. It's not bad, by the way, to say that your child is great and amazing. That's a good thing, right? However, they should also be supported to see, hey, this is a fault that we can work through, that we can get better at, so they can understand how to look at themselves and look at where they have maybe some weaknesses that they can strengthen, right? However, we have a society of people today who do not want to look at their weaknesses. It's very challenging to look at your weaknesses. And so instead, we see a lot of people asking for others to not acknowledge their weaknesses, to only acknowledge their strengths, to only acknowledge what they want to be acknowledged for. And that creates a problem because then we can only say certain things and not actually recognize reality around us, right? And so we have a lot of etiquette in our society, by and large, right? But there's a really cool Lao Tzu quote that I came across that says, basically, this is a paraphrasing of it, right? It says, where there's etiquette, integrity is lost. Meaning, imagine this. You're only supposed to say certain things to people in order to be polite, right? I was just watching a video of a retired police officer saying, we treat our children, we teach them to be polite, over polite, and that sets them up to be taken advantage of. When you tell your children or your child that they have to say hello, they have to say, they have to be nice to someone, to a stranger, shake their hand, give them a hug, people they don't know, give them a kiss, when they're uncomfortable, pushing them into these, because of social etiquette, right? Pushing them into these circumstances. Well, what that does is that creates a child who now does not listen to their own intuition when they feel uncomfortable around someone. And instead, they just put themselves in positions where they can be taken advantage of. And those are the children that are preyed upon by would-be predators, right? We need to acknowledge reality. And we need to acknowledge reality even over our own personal feelings, even if it might hurt us or challenge us a little bit, right? At least emotionally. Because if we don't, this allows for the racism to take place within everyone's own minds. It's, you have those secret thoughts, right? If you're not allowed to say it out loud, you're going to start thinking it. So as I was saying before, clearly there are a few people who are trying to shape society into what they want, but that requires society to be really dumb and docile. And even then, it still doesn't really work. So should society be accepting of other cultures? Yes, of course, but to an extent. It does not mean accepting someone just because they're different. Some cultures just aren't best, like cannibalism. There are literally some cultures out there still today that practice cannibalism, and we know, hey, that is not good for society. Objectively, we can say no, right? It also means that we cannot erase reality. Reality is here. It's physical. It's what it is. We can't just erase it in our minds because we don't like the idea, right? Which means that our society is going to require us to be intelligent, because it's very easy to, when you don't get your way, to be mad and say, throw it all away. I see little kids do that all the time. If they don't get one thing right, like their ice cream has a little leaf that fell in it, I don't want it anymore. Throw it away, right? Or mom takes a bite of a little snack that they had. Nope, throw it away. No one can have any snacks. Throw the whole box away, right? But that's because they're not developed emotionally yet, right? Which means that our society is going to have to develop emotionally, intelligently, and in so many ways, we're going to have to mature in order to be able to handle all the nuances of being able to accept others, but not just blindly accept everything, and being able to discern, hey, this thing is not right, right? Our media has taken our suspicion of others and amplified it to incredible stories. And this is the power of AI. This is another great argument for why our society needs to be educated, because it's very easy to get caught up in news stories or in social media or in movies and really believe that that is reality. And we actually see this quite a bit with people who have trouble recognizing an advertisement in a TV show that they're watching or in a newspaper article that they're reading. They don't recognize, if it doesn't explicitly say this is an ad, that they're reading or engaging with an ad. And that's just a problem of education. This is why you have to raise a self-leader, because otherwise they'll fall into the spiral of our society. In fact, society follows a cycle. A generation becomes dumber, more rights and freedoms are lost, and it always starts with something being perpetrated against society for some altruistic reason. It's not actually altruistic, but they say it's altruistic. Here's a good example. The major example is the school system, the public school system, especially here in the US. The public school system was this idea that we're going to bring education to the public, the altruistic reason, right? However, did you know that when the public education system first began and first became a mandate for you to put your child in the public education system, Parents were forced by militia to release their children to the school. They didn't want to do it. They said, no, we're not going to do that. That doesn't make sense. Our kids have a good education here. No, 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 you must. And we will do it by force. We will make you by force with guns and soldiers, right? And then what do you know? For the next generation, it's normal. They went to school, everybody else is going to school around them, and they put their kids into school. But if you know the history of the public education system, you know the people who were behind it and what they said their stated goals were for funding this public education system. They said they didn't want to create a lot of intelligent people. In fact, their specific words were, we don't want a nation of thinkers. We want a nation of workers. They're literally just educating you just to the point where you can be employable, but not so that you're actually intelligent. And when the kids become dumb, they grow up into dumb adults, and that becomes normalized throughout society, and nobody knows any better. And so they're able to push for more altruistic reasons and take away more freedoms because you're less able to resist because you don't know any better, right? Here's another example. After 9/11 in 2001, there was a bill that was introduced called the Patriot Act. Sounds very altruistic. It was going to protect Americans from terrorists. But in fact, what it actually does is it spies on every American. It says, hey, we are allowed to tap into your phone and listen to your phone calls. We're allowed to tap into your laptop and see what you're doing online. And just because we suspect you of terrorism, but they can literally suspect anyone of terrorism. In fact, just over the last couple of years, parents were suspected of terrorism because they disagreed with their school board. That is crazy, right? And so if people were better educated and they could actually read through these bills and see what it is that is being proposed, then they would be able to recognize, hey, our freedoms are being taken away. However, because of the education of the average person here in the US, and that, by the way, is dropping, more and more freedoms are more and more easily taken away from the general public. So how do we break the cycle? It starts with education, and real education starts in the home. If you'd like a breakdown of what that looks like and some guidelines of what you can do in your home to break that cycle, go to my website and download my free microbook called Breaking the Cycle. Go to unlocked.com/microbook. That's unlock, ED like every day, FL like for life.com/microbook, all one word, and download the free microbook and get started with breaking the cycle today. Remember, our kids deserve the best, and we can make that happen. So let's see you on the next one.